Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys a Scavenging Perk guide. And recently, with the introduction of Ancient Invention, you can now get Scavenging 4 as a perk. This is a really amazing perk because it allows you to get a ton of invention materials and save you a ton of money. So I'm going to show you guys how I got it and the most efficient way to get it. I'm also going to show you guys a method to kill corpse spiders. You can kill up to 2,000 to 3,000 per hour, which is really great, and you get a ton of invention components from it. So we're going to start off by looking at the Scavenging Perk, just the description of it. So there is a 1% chance per rank to get an uncommon invention component as a drop from combat, and it also has a 1% chance that it will be a rare component instead. So this perk also does have an increased chance to activate on level 20 items. As you can see, we're going to go for the Scavenging Perk 4. This will allow it to have a 4% chance to get an uncommon invention component as a drop from combat. And then also you'll have a 1% chance that it will be a rare instead, which is really amazing. As you can see, materials per 10,000 kills, you should expect to get around 1,600 invention components, and 16 of these should be rare components. So we're going to look at this, and also I'm going to show you guys how you can kill corpse spiders, which will allow you to kill around 3,000 per hour, which will be a really great method for just gathering invention components once you have the Scavenging Perk. But first, before we look at that, I do want to look at the Scavenging Perk. So Scavenging 4 can only be made with Ancient Gizmos. It does require 85 Invention as well. You will need 95 Archaeology, or you can buy the Ancient Gizmo Blueprint from the Grand Exchange. It does cost around 2 mil, so it isn't too expensive. And you have about a 7% chance to obtain. You'll need to use 9 precious components per try. So it is a pretty rare perk, not as rare as Scavenging 3 was. So you should be able to get it, but it will still cost you a bit of money, just going for the precious components and also the classical and historical components that we'll look at later. You also want to drink an extreme invention potion before trying to boost your chances. So as you can see, here are the odds of the different perks you can get. Scavenging 4 and looting, you'll have around a 4% chance to get, but then you'll also have a 1.6% chance to get Scavenging 4 alone. And then you also have nearly a 1% chance getting Scavenging 4 and Antheism, which is a pretty bad perk, but overall it does equal out to around 7%, and it will go up a little bit more with the Extreme Invention Potion. So now I want to show you guys how you can obtain this perk. So first off, you will need to make some Ancient Gizmos, whether you want it on armor or weapons. I chose armor, so I'm going to be making the Ancient Armor Gizmos, and as you can see, it does require 20 blade parts and 2 strong components. You'll probably have these in your invention bag already, but if not, you can disassemble any type of salvage to obtain both of these. You will also need 20 historic components and 2 classic components for each gizmo that you plan on making. These are going to be a little bit tougher to obtain, so you're going to really have to focus on these. And you'll also need to get the precious components because you will need 9 of them for each gizmo. So first off, I want to show you guys how I was obtaining my precious components. So I was making the Rings of Slaying. So you can purchase the ability to learn how to craft these for 400 Slayer points at any Slayer Master. All it does require is 1 gold bar and 1 enchanted gem. Now enchanted gems, they are not tradable, so you can only buy them off of the Slayer Master. There's 2 different shops that you can buy them from. So one is from any Slayer Master, and then the Slayer Master in Burthorpe, Turiel, he has his own store as well, so his restock doesn't count for all the other Slayer Masters. So every day you will be able to purchase 5 enchanted gem packs, which will include a total of 250 enchanted gems. You can buy them from any other Slayer Master and then Turiel, so that's 500 in total. Then you can also just buy the 300 enchanted gems that they have in their inventory. I like doing this at Mandareth because it's right next to the Edgeville Bank, and also you can just go straight to the furnace if you want to make your Rings of Slaying right then as well. And that is all you will need to craft the Rings of Slaying. You'll just need some gold bars in your ore bank, and then also just bring a full inventory of the enchanted gems, and you can craft the Rings of Slaying. And then I like just disassembling them right there as well. Then I'll go back to the bank, get some more enchanted gems, and continue crafting and disassembling. You should be able to get around 200 or 300 precious components per hour. It isn't really too much because you do have to craft them as well, but it is the best and most cost-efficient way of getting precious components. Now, as I mentioned earlier, you will not only need precious components, you also do need those classic components as well as the historic components. You can obtain these just by disassembling white oak. It is pretty cheap. It's the most cost-efficient way of getting both of these materials. However, you won't get very many per hour. I would advise just buying a full 1,000, which is the buy limit on the Grand Exchange. And then you can just disassemble those and get some historic and classic components. Now, there is also another method to obtaining historic and classic components. You can do this by excavating at the level 17 excavation hotspot within Caradet. You can go for the Zeros effigies and also the Zerosian training dummies. They don't cost too much to restore, so when you do restore these, you can disassemble them for historic and classic components. You will have a 100% chance at getting either a historic or classic component. You'll get 20 historic components at a time, and then whenever you get a classic component, which there is an 18% chance at getting, you'll get 5 of them. So it is a pretty good way of obtaining these materials for the ancient gizmos, which you can later on use to get the scavenging perk. Now, as I said earlier, there is a 7% chance to obtain one of these scavenging 4 perks. Unfortunately for me, I was extremely unlucky when getting this. I had to go through 38 tries to finally get a perk with Scavenging 4 and looting. So I was actually kind of lucky because I did only go a few more after that and I got a second one. So I do have 2 now in about 42 tries or so. So although on average you should get one every 14 tries, you might get a bit unlucky and you might have to spend a little bit extra money getting this perk. But overall, it probably only costed me around 5 to 10 mil to get, and I know it's going to make a ton of money back for me in the long run. So, Scavenging 4, it is going to be a really great perk if you guys are planning on doing some AFK combat methods, for example, like Corrupted Creatures or Abyssal Demons, even doing things like the Corpse Spiders method, which I am going to show you guys in a little bit. This is all really great ways to obtain a ton of components over a good amount of time. You also obtain some rare components as well, which is where you're going to save a ton of money. So now that I managed to get the Scavenging 4 perk, I did want to test it out with an hour at Corpse Spiders. This is going to be my setup for this hour. It's a pretty good recommended setup. So as you can see, I am using magic. Magic seems to be the best skill to use here. I'm using my aggression potions, which is really needed for Corpse Spiders. I also have the Smoke Devils and the Dusk Cloud Scrolls. These are going to be super useful because it allows you to hit multiple targets whenever you use that special attack. And then of course I have my Masterwork Legs, which do have my Scavenging 4 perk on it. Also bring a Spring Cleaner because there's a ton of just bronze salvage that they do drop and you can automatically disassemble that just for some extra components. Those are basically all of the things that you will need for this method. I am using the Dragon Rider Amulet. You can use the Demon Horn Necklace if you're looking to use prayer, but they're super low levels, so you really shouldn't need to. Also, I am using the Armadillo Battle Staff because it does give unlimited air runes. You can use a similar elemental battle staff, but if you don't have one, then you can use air runes as well. That's why I don't have any in my inventory, because I have unlimited with my battle staff. Anyway, to get to the Corpse Spiders, you will want to go to the Lumbridge Catacombs, which is located in the cemetery in Lumbridge. Just climb down the ladder and then walk down the stairs to get to the Corpse Spiders. Now, once you get here, you will want to stand in the middle of the room and then drink the aggression potion. Now, for this method, it is really important that you have your combat settings set on Revolution, and then you have your magic AoE abilities at the beginning of your action bar. So as you can see, I do have Chains, I have Dragon Breath, and then I also have Corruption Blast in the first 3 slots of my action bar, and these are going to allow me to do some AoE damage and kill the Corpse Spiders much quicker. You will also want to summon your Smoke Devil and use the Dusk Cloud Scrolls. Now, when using these Dusk Cloud Scrolls, it will deal 792 damage to an enemy, and then it will also ricochet to up to 6 more targets. So it will boost your kills per hour here. So definitely make sure that you are bringing a Smoke Devil because they do boost your kills per hour by a lot. Now, when I was doing this, I was sort of using the special attack a bit more sparingly, which did lower my kills per hour a little bit. If you do want to maximize your kills per hour, you are going to want to use it pretty frequently, probably every 5 seconds or so, which does make the method a little bit less AFK. But if you are just want to chill a little bit, then you can slow it down on that, and you don't really need to use it all the time. But you will get around 2,000 to 3,000 kills per hour depending on how often you use that ability. So I did track how many components I did gain over a full hour here at Corpse Spiders. I got around 2,500 kills. Now looking at the common materials, I only got these from the bronze salvage and stuff that they dropped that my spring cleaner automatically disassembled, because scavenging does not give you common materials. So as you can see, those are the common materials that I did obtain from a full hour at Corpse Spiders with around 2,500 kills. Now we're going to look at the uncommon materials, and this is where you gain most of the invention components. So as you can see, we gained a ton of components, at least 4 in each uncommon material. I'm not going to list them all out, but there is a lot of really good materials there. That's definitely saving me a few mil just off some invention components. So it is a really great perk to use. And again, this only took 1 hour to get all of those components. So it is really great. Now, unfortunately, we weren't lucky enough to get a rare component. As I mentioned before, you have a 1% chance to get a rare component instead of an uncommon component. We weren't lucky and we didn't get that, but you can expect to get around 16 every 10,000 kills. So overall, the Scavenging Perk 4, it does seem to be really, really great. Definitely a perk you guys should try and get, especially if you're going for 99 or 120 Slayer. It's going to be a really great perk for that, or if you're looking to do some AFK combat methods for money or something, then definitely add it on, because it's going to save you a ton of money in the long run, especially when you get a little bit luckier and get some of those rare components. You could even get some noxious components and stuff like that, which is just going to save you a ton. Anyway, guys, I really hope you guys found this helpful, and if you guys did, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe for more RuneScape 3 content. Anyway, guys, I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.